Good evening and welcome to episode 4 of Backwoods Investigations for Season 2. I am your host, Blimp, the team leader of the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters team. And tonight, with my special guest, the Indiana Squatchman, we dive back into the phenomenon that is Bigfoot. Mr. Greg Yost is in, and we will hear what he has to say about Bigfoot. His Bigfoot that he's caught on camera, Little George, and Curious George, and more. Thanks for coming on the show tonight, Greg. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Blimp. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks.
I appreciate you coming on a great deal. So let's get down to business. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm 59 years old. I just had a birthday. I'm single. I live in southern Indiana. And I got my son, and I got a daughter. And everybody, my son. Everybody calls him Son of Squatch, man. His name's Eugene. And I kind of dragged him into my hobby. So now he's a big part of it now. And I got a small team here in Indiana, about like you do. Half the time, most of them don't go out. It's just me, Eugene, and a man named John Gregory. And, we go out once or twice a month. It's camping, don't matter how cold it is, whatever. And we got a pretty good thing going with the Bigfoots.
That's really good. So, how long have you been into the topic of Bigfoot, Greg?
Well, as far as really being active and, looking into him and stuff, ever since I had that first encounter, it's been around 16 going on 17 years. So it's been a while.
Well, I want you to start right from the beginning. What got you started in Bigfoot? When did you realize the first thing you saw? And tell us, did you, leading up to your first encounter, did you ever see anything out of the ordinary that would have made you think that it was a Bigfoot?
No, not at all, because I was in the Boy Scouts. I did a lot of camping. There was stories going around. Like here in, I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. And there's a place over there called the Trestles. A lot of people talk about the sheep man or the goat man, whatever they want to call it. And a lot of people thought that was a Bigfoot that lived out there by the Trestles. And that was more like folklore, though. I mean, we really didn't put much thought into that. Even though it probably would have been cool if something like that was out there. I mean, I did hear a lot of stories as I was growing up. But, I seen when I was a teenager, probably like a sophomore in high school, me and a bunch of my buddies went and seen the legend of Boggy Creek. That scared the crap out of us. And that was after that one, the Patterson Gimlin film come out in '67. A few years later, the Legend of Boggy Creek movie come out. I seen that Roger Patterson on Johnny Carson. It was back when TV only had 3 stations. And so it was pretty big. He was on there, and they were showing the video. And, I was kind of thinking, well, it looks pretty real to me. So, I just figured, no big deal. It was a Bigfoot. He caught it on tape. And, like I say, I was a teenager. I had a lot more on my mind, other than worrying about, Bigfoot. So anyway, I joined the Navy, and I was in the Navy almost 10 years or better. And it wasn't until I had my first encounter, that I really started paying attention to, the myth, they call it, the legend. Well, I found out that night that the myth is real. But I was out at, I went out to Ferdinand State Park. Actually, probably about 80 miles from the Illinois border, going your way. But it's down 64 West, a little little town called Ferdinand. It's by Santa Claus Land. They got Holiday World. I think they changed the name now. But anyway, it's my mother's hometown. And back in 1933, my grandfather helped design and build the park. So a lot of times I went there. I mean, it's a real beautiful park. And it was never crowded. I mean, even the campground. They had some pretty good fishing lakes out there. And I used to take buddies out there. We went fishing. And this isn't the main encounter I had, but it was 2 years before that. I haven't brought this up much. Me and my best friend Bobby, we were out there catfishing. And when we get out there, we're right at late evening, right before it got dark, set all up. And we catfish all night. That's the best time to catch them. During the night for some reason. Bottom fish and we haul some big ones in. So I remember 3 o'clock because right at 3 o'clock, man, we heard the loudest tree knocks, man, up on this ridge up there. And it was bang, bang, bang. We looked at each other and I'm like, man, what the hell's that? And he looked at his watch. He goes, well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, man. He goes, ain't nobody out here. He goes, well, what the hell was that up there? I have no idea, Bobby. I mean, it sounded loud, and whatever it was, it sounded like he was beating a tree, or I didn't know anything about tree knocks or nothing like that. So we just blew it off, like two probably regular guys would do today if they heard that, like, well, what the hell was that? We didn't think it was a Bigfoot or anything. So as time went on that year, I hung out at Bobby's house a lot, man. He lived out in the forest. They had a nice little place out there. Matter of fact, close to the forest I go to now. And we'd watch all the stuff about a Bigfoot that was on. He had satellite TV. And then one night we seen a show where, they were doing them tree knocks. So we're like, hey, man, that's like what we heard out in Ferdinand that night. And I wonder if that was a Bigfoot doing that. This is anyway. Nothing ever big come out of that or nothing. But it was that night I went out there by myself. And I was laid off from work. I worked at a factory over in Louisville. And it was a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And I was just sick of sitting around, man, boring. So I had a dog buddy. I took him everywhere with me. He was a half chow, half golden retriever. He weighed about 125 pounds. And I took him out there with me. And actually, I took him everywhere I went. He's my best friend. So we went out there, and like I say, it was a few days before Thanksgiving. A nice, cool, calm November night. The moon was out. A beautiful, beautiful night. I mean, the forest was just so quiet. I had to take a dam to get to the spot I was at. They went across this lake there. Then there was a big ridge side, coming down. And it had a little cleared out area for like 5 or 6 little camp areas. And then there's a little circle, and then back out, nothing big back there. So they had fire pits and picnic tables also by each campground there. And I'm sitting there at the picnic table and had a little fire going in the pit. And this other dog come around. I figured he was a hunter lost his dog or something. It was like a beagle, a blue tick mix, something like that. Some kind of hunting dog. And he started, playing around with Buddy, and we were just having a good old time. And then what broke out of the night silence, man, up on top of that ridge, where me and Bobby heard them tree knocks a couple years earlier. I mean, it sounded like a freight train coming down off this hill. It was, just branches breaking, sticks breaking, leaves cracking, and I don't know. Well, I never heard anything like it. It was huge. And I'm sitting there, man, like, oh my God, man, well, what is this? It's coming like, man, is this for real? I mean, what in the hell is this? There was a big tree there, about 20 feet, where the cutout ended, and he stopped behind this big tree. Buddy and his other dog walked up like 10 feet in front of the tree. We were only 20 feet away to begin with, and they sit down and they're staring up in this tree. And all of a sudden I hear him breathing. He's up there. I mean, real deep guttural breaths, and I'm like, oh my God, man. And, I'm still sitting there frozen, and I don't know what to do, what to think. What is this thing? What am I? I mean, I don't know what's going on. So all of a sudden I snap out of it, man. I go, you better do something, man. This thing's gonna kill you. And my car was parked right there. So luckily I had a Colt 45 right there in the console. So as being a military man, I like arming myself, being prepared. And my military training, kicked in the defense mode. So I got that 45 out and cocked it. And I pointed it up through the tree, and I'm like, look, I don't know what you are or who you are or anything, man, but you mess with me or my dog. I go, I'm armed down here. I'm gonna light you up. I go, I don't want to hurt you, man, but you come around that tree, man, we're gonna have trouble. So I'm screaming at Buddy, 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 and he wouldn't even turn around. And this dog was pretty well behaved, and it was like he was in a trance. Him and this other dog. So I'm like, oh man, I got to get my dog. So I'm holding my coat in my right hand, and I'm creeping up to Buddy. And I'm holding my gun right up where this thing's at. And the breathing, man, is getting louder and louder. And I'm like 10 feet from the tree. So I'm trying to grab Buddy underneath his chest. And like I told you, he's a 125-pound dog. He's pretty big. I'm trying to get him in my lap and back out of there. So I finally get some good leverage on him. And again, I'm still talking. I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt you, man. I go, do not just stay where you're at, man. And I figured he was gonna come out around that tree any second. So I get back to my car and I throw Buddy in there, and I jump in the front seat, start it up, and I back up to where the dam at I was telling you, which was 30, 40 feet away. Just I noticed I left all my stuff on the table. I mean, I was shaking, man. I needed a cigarette bad, and there wasn't no stores anywhere. So, I'm like, well, hell, man, I ain't leaving here without my stuff. So I went back up to the table, and as I was pulling back up, I hit my brakes, and I looked about halfway up in the tree. I seen this big arm hanging out, kind of like holding the tree, and I seen these big 4 fingers. And they had hair hanging off of them. And I didn't see a thumb. It looked like his thumb was stuck in underneath his hand. And I see a big ass huge forearm, practically almost all the way up to the elbow, what I could see. And he had long stringy hair hanging off of it. And the hair on his hands were shorter, man. But he had a really big hand with huge fingers. And I remember how black they looked. They almost looked like leather. That kind of black looking. So I get out, and again, I have my gun, and like, look, I'm just getting my stuff, man. I'm not going to hurt you. And that other dog was still there. And, I figured I was pushing my luck if I went over and tried to get him, too. So I went ahead and got my stuff, man, and I got out of there. And got all the way back home to Jeffersonville. Yeah, that's all I could think of. And I'm telling myself, oh, my God, man. It had to be a Bigfoot. There was only one explanation for that, and that's what I've come to terms with it. And from that night on, I started my journey to get to the bottom of it.
That's one hair-raising experience, Greg. Right quick, I got a question on the live feed from Reva McManus from Carrollton, Kentucky. She has a question. Have you ever seen any of them fighting over food? And if so, like, how do they eat?
Well, yeah, I know Reva. Hello, Reva. Well, no, I have never seen them fighting over food. Uh, matter of fact, I believe they're good at sharing their food with each other. As we find this out when we give them food and stuff. Um, I mean, I think that they go out of the way to make sure everybody gets a piece or gets their fair share. I mean, like we'll leave donuts out, bananas, apples, and they take everything. So I'm sure the same one is not, eating, doing all the eating. And but how do they eat? Well, I got that on audio too. I mean, they eat just like us. You can hear their mouths and lips chopping. But what they eat, I believe they eat, everything they can get in the forest. Berries, certain types of plant leaves that are good. Honeysuckles. So they dig into trees a lot. They get bugs and grubs out. They eat fish, turtles. Occasional deer. I got evidence of them. Some good deer kills that had to be done by Squatch. So I mean, basically they. I guess they play by ear. Whatever time of the year. Like it's quite obvious they can't get no green plant life during the dead of the winter, so they probably rely more on small rodents. I mean, I've heard reports of them, eating rats, rabbits, small game like that. But yeah, they're definitely gonna get their food though. They're not gonna starve.
Um, Another question I got. You've been telling me ever since I met you about Curious George. Tell me about George.
Okay, well that's funny you've asked. I just had a friend of mine do he pieced together a video with the pictures and everything, and I'm gonna release this on Facebook pretty soon. But this is a rare catch. Well, what started out, I packed my lunch up. It was in late March, almost early April. Spring was just springing. The leaves on the trees were just starting to come out. The forest was starting to green up just a little, not much. So anyway, I went out for a day, to eat my lunch and took a hike. So I stopped, I ate my lunch. At this nice brook, a real beautiful creek area. And after my lunch, I went ahead and rejoined the trail where I was hiking on and took hiking. And I probably went 5 miles or so, and I turned around and I had enough. So I was going to go back. It was probably another 6 miles back. So I was probably hiked another 4 miles back down, and I come to this real. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe, but a real eerie looking area, man. A lot of trees real close together, a lot of growth, and over to the right, it looked like I seen something black and shaggy looking, looking out from around a tree at me. So I'm like, oh no way! I started hearing noises over there. So I'm like, well, it's probably a deer over there, man. Kicking around. I didn't even think Squatch or nothing. It was the last thing in my mind. And I had my little Samsung camera that I with me that day. So I took a couple more steps, and after I cleared a few more trees, and so I seen it again hanging out around a tree. Immediately, man, I looked over and caught it right in the eyes. And I'm like, oh my God, man, it's a little Squatch. And he immediately ducked behind a tree again. so I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe it. I go, I never seen one, that close. Besides the two on the knobstone drill, I mean, that was a good one there. But so this was actually my third encounter. The Ferdinand, the knobstone drill, now this one. And but I didn't get no pictures of them guys. So anyway, I go, well, man, I got my phone out. I was getting a lot of slack from a lot of guys at work and stuff. That's all you want to do, man, is talk about Bigfoot and everything, but you don't have a picture, none or nothing. How can if you're gonna state your case and try to get people to believe you think there's Bigfoots out there, you're gonna have to have a picture of one. So I'm like, well, I tell you what, man, today I'm gonna get a picture. So I got my little phone out, I turned it on, and it's a real little bitty one, them old-fashioned ones, and I had it barely over the palm of my hand. So every time I looked over to the right and I seen him, he ducked or he was climbing in trees about 6-7 feet high. Then he'd jump out of them, slide down. I mean, this thing was quick. I mean, he was fast as lightning. So I didn't want to keep looking over there. I didn't want to blow my chance. So I kept walking, but I slowed it down a really slow walk. And I like I was looking over to the left. But I could see him out of the corner of my right eye. So I snapped probably 25 pictures, going until it was probably, almost the length of a football field. That's how long he followed me, if I had to guess. Maybe not that long, maybe 80 yards. But it was a good distance, and I could hear him the whole way. And the last picture I got of him, where he's kneeling down, looking over to the left, I think his father was over there, and he called it off. And like, hey, that's it, man. Get back over here. That's it. Because the noise completely ceased. I didn't see him anymore, and I didn't even know if I had got any pictures of him. I mean, I was basically shooting in the dark, and I did see him hanging around trees. One picture, his head was like peeking around. On another tree, half his body was hanging out with his arm. Just like, compared to like a monkey would do. And it was amazing that I did get him 3 times out of all them pictures. And so I try to explain that one, that I out-squatched the squatch on that one. And he wasn't the smartest. He was a young guy. He was only 3.5 feet tall. So him being curious, not the smartest squatch in the group. All these factors came into that for me getting such a good, clear picture of him. And because, in all actuality, he probably didn't even know I had a camera. That's how concealed it was in my hand. And like Eugene always tells me, he might have thought I was part of the family, the way I looked, the long hair, the beard. And he was just so curious over me. You know how a dog is when you come home, how excited he is. That's like this little guy over here. He's making so much noise, jumping from tree to tree, going up and down. He was doing everything he can to get a good look at me. And in the meantime, I'm seizing the opportunity. And I think I had seen Curious George about 2 years later since that day. But wait till you see his video where we're putting together, man. It's pretty good.
Out of the years that you've been researching and doing your field investigations, how many run-ins to date have you had with Sasquatch?
How many actual sightings?
Sightings, experiences where you've heard them, where you found like tree structures, evidence of them in the woods, footprints, hair, etc.
I can't count all the numbers of all the structures and everything. It had to be upwards over 100. But I do keep track of everyone that I see, and I got 31, Class A visual sightings. Some by myself, some with people, but and that's counting, the night I seen 15 of them, and then their eyes shine, and and I got evidence, the fingerprints of everything on my Jeep. So, I think I captured a whole group of them that night, all different sizes. And then on that one, like I said, besides myself, I got 2 other witnesses that seen this. And as far as counting, everything, I mean, every time I go out, man, something happens. We either hear them, we find evidence, structures, footprints, hear them talking. Just the other day, me and this guy went out and we heard him talking. I don't count that as anything. We know there's no humans down, and this is way down in a ravine, real steep ravine, and the wind carried the voices up to us, and it was pretty freaky. This was just Sunday, so I mean, every time I go out, I mean, I can usually show somebody some type of new evidence, that they're out and about.
Can you describe you say you hear them talking and chattering. Can you describe what it sounds like?
Yeah, well, I got one on audio that sounds just like this. It sounds like some type of caveman talk. And then we hear them, when we do hear them in the woods, it's similar to that kind of talk, too. It's almost like humans talking, but you can't make out the words. It's more like like I said, more like a mumble.
You talked about where the one come running down the hill and it went up the tree the first time that you saw, whenever you saw that up in the tree. Did you feel like it was being observant, like it was curious, or did it exhibit any behavior that it was being aggressive towards you, like it wanted you out of the area, or was it just coexisting with you?
Oh, no, I didn't feel any kind of threat at all for Michelin. Even though he was a lot bigger than me for being 3.5 feet tall, I didn't feel any harm whatsoever. So, if anything, like I told you, I just think he was very, very curious. And I'm sure there was others around. I'm sure his father was probably around there with him. If it wasn't so back to training mission. So, I mean, he just didn't want to push his luck. He didn't want to get too close. But on the other hand, I mean, I could have been the first human he ever seen, and he was just really excited. But again, this is my aerial Zach, that I have seen, I have had so many visual encounters. I mean, this is I call it the Enchanted Creek, and so anything I see up here, up there in that creek, I mean, you just don't know. But I never fear for my life, or I don't carry a gun or anything. Sometimes I do carry a knife, but again, I don't think. I mean, some people say they're mean and aggressive like that. I mean, I really don't know. The ones that up here where I go to, I have never had that kind of aggression or an attitude shown to me. I mean, it seems like they really, whatever you want to call it, but they really like me.
You just think it's the way you look that they're more interested and they feel more at peace being around you?
I don't have a bunch of cameras. I don't have a bunch of weapons, guns. Usually it's just, ears, eyes, and heart. Whatever they want to show us, do to us. I think it's for us only. I mean, I really don't think you want to. They don't want to be filmed. They don't want their faces all over social media. I mean, they're living out here in the forest trying to get away from us. I mean, they don't want to advance like we do. If anything, they're going the other way. They're going more primitive. So, I mean, cut and dry, the bottom line, I just think they like watching humans as a pastime, and they like keeping an eye on us. Um, just seeing what we're up to, seeing how we live. That's why you always have all these encounters around campsites, campground, public campgrounds. Well, I mean, you can go probably behind any campground. Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. You can go back in there and you're going to find signs of Bigfoot activity behind the camp areas because they like hanging out and they like watching us. I mean, if that was the case, why would they'd be up around these camp areas? I mean, I was just watching a show earlier, man, up there in Ohio about salt pork. There was guys talking about activity, we're right there in the camp areas and stuff. So they wanted to stay away from us and completely, off the grid. I mean, they'd be way out in the middle of nowhere, down in these deep ravines, up on these high ridges where people never go. So yeah, I mean, I just think they're very curious of us. We're good entertainment for them.
Just recently, you and your son took a trip to Washington State, I believe. Would you tell us about how that went?
Yeah, we sure did. There was a friend of mine, Alyssa, running with Willis Alexandria. She invited a bunch of people out there to her log cabin ranch, right there in the mountains up there in Washington. And Connie Willis did a Blue Rock Bash event. And there was a lot of big name people out there. Adam Davies is out there, Ron Moorhead. There's all kinds of real neat people stopping in and out, staying for a while. And we were out 4 days. And we went to a mountain out there called a SETI Ranch. It's supposed to be like a UFO ranch. And, I mean, that whole area, man, you see all these Bigfoot statues everywhere. I mean, it's definitely Bigfoot country out there. I mean, everywhere you go, everywhere you stop, it's all about Bigfoot. And Eugene went with me, and Tanya went with me, and we had a blast out there. And we had a little activity. We went Bigfoot in a few nights. It had this big, beautiful creek there, Bear Creek. And we went down the creek, man. We found a couple structures, some nice footprints. I mean, it was definitely an area I'd like to get back to one day and spend some serious time out that way. I mean, I thought Indiana was pretty squatchy. Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, our area here. But Washington, Blimp. I mean, it's Bigfoot capital of the world, brother. It's beautiful.
You find all these structures and everything. What is your take on these things? Are they territory markers? Are they navigational points? What is your take on these structures?
Well, the different ones, the X's, take for an example. That right there is the mark of the Bigfoots. Whenever you see these big X's, that's property claim. They're claiming their property. You see more than one in there, they're claiming that whole area. That's what I believe the X's mean. It's the mark of the people. And or some of the other teepees and nests. I believe they use some for the mamas and the babies to bond, newborns, until they get capable of getting up and walking on their own. They got to have nests and stuff to kick back and, like I said, have mom and baby bond. They use different ones for hunting structures. I got a lot of the teepees, I believe. They hide in them. And when an unexpected deer walks by, they come right out of it. Just like a man uses hunting blinds, tree stands, anything in his advantage. Well, the same thing as the Bigfoot hunter. He's smarter, not smarter than man. So yeah, he's gonna make the same similar structure to do the same thing, get food, put food on the table. And I have found some where it looked like a completely sealed off structure with one way in, where it had room like for 4 or 5 of them. And I figure they get into places like this, but when it's really, really cold, for complete warmth and get out of the snow or get out of the Arctic winds. Ones like that, and then some of the ones like the bowls. If you look at these bowls, they're trees coming out of the ground, bowled over with either a rock or a log on the other end, holding it into the ground. It's like a complete circle of energy. Some, including myself, believe these are like energy showers, where they go under these things and they're getting showered with the positive energy of the universe and the earth, being completely connected. I can't prove stuff like this, but they do it for some reason, and it sounds better than most that I've heard. And then you find other structures like we call it woodcrafts, where they'll interweave different branches from other trees together. They'll leave. They leave me and Eugene Y's, a big Y and a little Y. Our last name's Yost. So one night I had a Y stuck right in front of my tent. The best looking Y you ever see. And so they done figured out what her names are. We have found 2 Y's in the creek with a big rock on the big Y and a little rock on the little Y. Like Big Yost and Little Yost. What we're dealing with is highly intelligent people that, I don't know how they can understand or get or find out what your name is, but they do it.
Out of all these theories on what a Bigfoot could be, it could be whether it being a spiritual manifestation into a physical form, it being flesh and blood. Where do you stand on this, Greg?
Well, again, I just call it the way I see it. I do believe that they're flesh and blood. That's one form. And on the other hand, they are a spiritual being that could travel in a high energy orb, which we have witnessed out in the forest. Again, adding to the low rate of sightings because they can do stuff like this. All the portals. We have seen some bright lights out in the woods, man, almost like train locomotive lights. Me and a friend of mine, we just seen one Saturday night. This is the 3rd time we have seen these lights up on UFO Mountain. And we seen this big light descend down to the forest floor. And then it came in. At first, we thought it was an airplane. But when it got closer, it was hovering over this one mountaintop. And it went right down into the ravine. About 5 minutes later, it come out right across the woods, right where we seen the 15 Bigfoots back in March, and it disappeared. the exact same location. I mean, you start seeing all this and putting all this together, and I got one on tape, saying yay wall. So I mean, I think there is a religious, spiritual connection. I mean, just because I say they could be from another planet, another world, another dimension. I mean, again, God is the creator of the whole universe, and He just didn't create Earth and humans. I mean, and don't tell them what this man has created out there. And then I hear all these stories about UFOs and Bigfoot's connected. I mean, a lot of them. I mean, if you heard a couple, you probably think the people were crazy. But I mean, I've had people come up to me and tell me, about UFOs out in their cornfields with a beam of light coming down with a Bigfoot, coming out of the UFO, walking into the woods. I mean, old farmers up here in Indiana, just because they see my stickers on my Jeep. I mean, you start hearing all this stuff and witnessing all this stuff. There's more. Like I tell everybody, man, if you think they're flesh and blood, some kind of big monkey or whatever, I mean, everybody has the right to opinion. But if that was the case, I mean, take in mind, a man is supposed to be the smartest thing here on earth. There's nothing supposed to be more intelligent than a man. I mean, we're top notch when it comes to intellectual thinking. That's the way, and that's the earth I'm talking about. That's the way God created it. I mean, we're above anything an animal. I mean, can an animal, send a man to the moon, walk on the moon? Can an animal build a submarine and fit 300 sailors underneath the water for 6 months at a time? Can an animal build a bomb that's going to destroy half the earth? No, only man can do that because man is so highly intelligent. But yet man cannot capture a video, a picture, anything worth, since the Patty video, ain't talking evidence, but all these trail cameras out every day, all these Bigfoot hunters, all these researchers, there's thousands of people in the woods every day trying to get a picture of one, trying to get an audio of one. But the results are usually the same, nothing. And so at the end of the day, you got to start asking yourself, well, how come none of these people are getting no pictures? I mean, we know they're out here, they're everywhere. I could take you up to my spot right now, Zach, and then we could probably hear one. You hear the tree knocks, you hear the whistling, you hear them talking, but yet you never see them. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But my experience, though, most of the time you don't. So when you do, it really is a blessing. So that's why I believe, they can be flesh and blood when they want to be, and they can be spiritual, as in a positive energy orb, that can travel, usually undetected by the naked eye, but a camera can pick them up. And if they got enough energy, then a human eye could probably see them. But yes, they are very high energy beings, and with them being so smart to detect, elude us, and us not be able to ever find one. I mean, you got all these shows, all these guys trying to go out and kill one, killing Bigfoot, doing this to Bigfoot. Hey, they can't even find Bigfoot, more or less kill them. So, you got to wonder, if it was just a flesh and blood animal, surely by now it won't be dead. Remember, the humans are the smartest species on Earth. I mean, we can outthink anything. So if indeed, in fact, this Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it, was an animal, well, it surely won't be killed by now. You would have them in the zoo, you'd have them in the circus. Scientists would have the body they need to classify what it is. But now, thousands and thousands of years years has passed back, and we're still at the same square one as we was way back then. We know they're out there. The scientist doesn't, they say it's a myth. Where's your evidence? But people like me and you that have seen them, we know they're out there. But in order for proof, you're going to need a body.
Exactly.
So, yeah, exactly. So I mean, if they die, just like any other animal, I mean, again, we're men. We're man. We know almost every species of birds, animals, fish, everything that inhabits the earth. And why? Because we got bodies and evidence of almost all of them. Every now and then a new species will pop up they don't know about. But I mean, how can something that big, something that large, I mean, we're talking something 12 feet, 1,200 pounds. How's that going to elude man, for all these years, man? It ain't going to happen. So there's got to be something more to it. That's all I'm saying, Zach.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your opinion and sharing your findings. One question, what's next for Squatchman?
Well, that is a good question. I'm going to keep working these woods I'm at. I'm getting all this activity, and like I told you before, Blimp, my goal. I mean, I want to be the first man who actually, gets the three answers everybody really wants to know. Who are they? What are they? Where do they come from? I mean, like I say, everybody's open to their opinion and their in their thoughts. I mean, until anything's proven. So I mean, you can't say I'm right. You can't say I'm wrong. I can't say other people's wrong or right. It's one big puzzle. But that's what I'm out there for, Blimp. I'm trying to solve the puzzle, man, and get to the bottom of it. Hopefully one day I will have the answers.
Hopefully we do. Like I tell everybody, whenever it comes to Bigfoot or any other cryptid creature in this world, it's an ever-growing puzzle. When you think you have the pieces you need, that puzzle grows.
Exactly. Just like the other night I seen your post. Just when you go out in the woods thinking you know the answers, you leave with more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So, before I go, is there any bit of wisdom or words of advice you could leave our viewers before we close out?
Well, like I tell everybody, if you want to be successful, have good interactions with these forest giants. Leave your cameras at the house, leave your guns at the house. Go to a special place you go to a lot. You'll start gifting them donuts, fruit. I mean, I ain't talking every day. I ain't talking about feeding them. This is a treat. It's called a gift. Once a month or so, let them know that they're there, and you got a good heart, man. And you're giving them good treats, and be open about it. Don't have it in the back of their head. I'll never see one. Blah blah blah. They don't like me. I mean, everything takes time. And when it comes to gaining the trust of a Bigfoot, it really takes time. So, if I'd had to tell you some good advice, go out there with a good heart and a good mind and open yourself up to these people, man. Again, I don't feel like they're mean people. I don't feel that they're going to hurt you. I go out there a lot by myself. I'm still here. They have plenty of times to hurt me. So, just follow your heart, man, and the bigs will pick up on that, and they'll see you're a good person, and they'll start interacting with you. That's what I did. I did it all myself. I didn't read books. I didn't do what this guy said. I didn't do what this guy said. I did what worked for me, and now it's really working. So all this time I've been gifting them. Yeah, I mean, it's years now. I mean, it's like they get excited when I come out there. They can't wait to get my donuts and stuff. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Just keep working with the same area, the same group, and you'll get excellent results.
Well, that is very good advice. And I do appreciate you coming on the show, Greg. It's been a long time coming to get you on this show, and it finally happened. So, again, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy evening to come and just come on Backwoods Investigations and spend some time with me and share your testimony and your stories.
Anytime, Blimp, man. It's my pleasure, buddy.
All right, well, it's been good talking to you. If you ever in the area, you got my number, look me up. We'll swap stories. We'll hang out.
Hey, I sure will, man.
All right, buddy. Well,
have a good evening, Blimp.
You too, and I'll see you on the trail, Mr. Greg.
You got that right, man. Good night, buddy.
Good night, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that does it for another episode of Backwoods Investigations. Hopefully you guys took some part from this interview with Mr. Greg Yost of Jeffersonville, Indiana. Until then, I'll see you on the trail, and stay squatchy, my friends. Be sure to tune in next time for my next guest on Backwoods Investigations. Until then, keep a wary eye out, keep your ears to the wind, and your nose to the ground. This is Blimp, signing off. And I'll see you on the trail. Stay squatchy, my friend.